Why is it that saving the first 100,000 Kenya shillings is always the hardest? Once you save 100k, you moving from 100k to 1 million is gonna be easy. In this video, I want to explain why it is hard to save your first 100,000 Kenya shillings, and most importantly, what you can do to fast track you saving the first 100,000, and even when you hit the particular target, what are you supposed to do? Is what I'm going to be talking about in this video, so that you are able to become financially healthy by saving appropriately. In case you are new here, my name is Afagzaz Sifuna. I am a finance expert and qualified accountant, bringing you amazing videos about investing and making money each and every day. In case those are kind of topics which you like, down there is a button called subscribe. Click that button for you to be able to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on any videos I upload each and every day. And while you still at it, drop a like on this video. Even before I share these nuggets with you, comment down below, what is your saving target for this year? Are you looking to save 100k? Are you looking to save 1 million? And even so, what is your approach to you saving? Comment down below so that you can be able to compare notes as I go through this video. Having said that, the first pointer for you is that saving the first 100k is difficult because every shilling has a job. Guys, in case you are aiming to save 100k, most likely you are coming from a position of maybe having struggled, or you are struggling financially. So you are looking for the initial saving amount which you can have, at least for you to feel okay. But then again, you are also coming from another reality where each and every shilling of yours has a job. Okay? Maybe you know very well you are earning maybe 30k Kenya shillings or even 50k Kenya shillings. That entire amount of money has a job. Regular expenses, maybe you are paying debt, maybe a chunk of it is going to other fixed expenses. Every shilling has a job. So how do you go about it? That is where the biggest challenge lies, because already the money has a location. But then the good news is that you need to treat saving as part of your allocation. That is why you need to also factor in your saving and your target of saving in your budget, so that you don't treat saving as an afterthought. Saving should be an active expense as you are starting out, so that you don't forget it. Okay? And then the second thing is that you are most likely dealing with something called lifestyle inflation. What do I mean? You must most likely be dealing with lifestyle inflation, which is a big challenge when it comes to people being able to save. Maybe you've already worked a few years. There have been expenses which have been shaking you to the extent that you have purpose now to start saving. A few years have passed, okay? The truth is that your salary hasn't increased exponentially, whereas your expenses, your responsibilities, your goals have been increasing exponentially. That has made a number of adults out there to see their expenses even hit and max out their possible earnings. That is a big catch. And exactly what that speaks to is that beyond just factoring in saving into your budget, you also need to change some key aspects of your lifestyle. Let me give you an example. In case, for example, you are earning 50k Kenya shillings and you are living in a house which is 25k rent, it basically means more than half of your salary is going towards paying rent. How can you save with a fixed expense, which unfortunately, based on responsibilities and years passing, is going to continue increasing? That is why, for you to start saving aggressively, you take a hit on some of these things relating to lifestyle. Maybe the most appropriate thing for you is to move maybe to a house of 12k or even 15k, and then be able to unlock that 10k, which you can be saving each and every month. Because before that, you're really going to be struggling because your lifestyle is already increased exponentially compared to your salary. And then the third pointer for you is that you are most likely struggling to save your first 100k because saving is a habit. Let's face it, out here, people assume saving needs to happen automatically. Unfortunately, on matters money, a good chunk of things relating to money, whether it is saving, investing, you name it, are habits. And I'm very sure you've heard, for example, a phrase out there which says, habits are built in 21 days, right? Assuming someone repeats the same thing over and over. Now imagine you've never saved before, or even so you've never saved seriously. How are you all of a sudden gonna have a habit of saving out of nowhere. You need to nurture it. You need to develop it. That is why even out here, some people, for example, embark and they decide this year I want to save 1 million. They save the first 10,000, the first 20,000, and then they eat the entire money. They're back to zero. The same thing goes with 100K. If, for example, you purpose each and every month, you want to be saving 8K Kenya shillings so that come the end of the year, you most likely going to be approaching your 100K target. You need to nurture that habit. Of course, when you are starting out, it is not easy. That is why you need to use enablers. Like, for example, you automating money which is being pushed to your saving account, right? When your money hits your bank account when you are paid a salary, don't just sit there saying, I have very optimal self-control. I'm going to go ahead and just spend money and I'll ensure it remains 8K there. That will not happen. That is why you need to be pushing, for example, using automation, push money to a specific saving account. And then the fourth pointer for you is that unexpected expenses occasionally slow you down. We all know life happens. We all know we occasionally have emergencies. So think about it this way. You are coming from a position where you don't have an emergency fund, and yet you are aiming to save. Unfortunately, unexpected expenses are going to slow you down. And sometimes these expenses even are very massive. They can even consume our entire month worth of earning. Case in point, maybe someone close to you becomes sick, and then you are required to pay the hospital bill. That is going to incur some resources. In case you don't have emergency fund, what is going to mean is that you're going to tap into your savings or even go ahead and request advance from your workplace. And that is going to hit your income too. That is why even in your quest to save your first 100,000, maybe think about also having some small emergency fund so that you're able to separate this particular monies. Emergency funds and also monies you are saving. That way you'll be able to stick to your goal of saving because you know very well any emergency happening, you gotta tap into the emergency fund. And then the fifth thing which you need to take note of is that at all times, momentum makes saving easier. What do I mean? In case this is a new thing to you, it is a goal you have in your head. You haven't written it down. No one out there knows. You won't be able to hold yourself accountable. That is why momentum makes saving easier. Case in point, you and your partner or even you and your close friend, why don't you have them as your accountability partner, right? In case you say you are aiming to save 100K, they can also occasionally be checking if you're truly saving. That way it's going to give you the momentum to keep going. And even beyond that, out here, seeing the possibility, there's something called proximity when someone is looking at possibilities. You, for example, even watching videos or reading literature about saving is going to really keep the momentum going because you're going to know out here people have done this, you can also do it. You're already doing something which has never been done before. That is why you need to develop momentum, both from the lens of accountability and also the lens of you knowing things are possible. Then that way, you'll be able to save. And then now, the sixth point, which is also now the point where I was talking about how do you fast track this. The thing is, you are coming from a point where you have a fixed income. You are most likely already struggling financially. So for you to be able to save your first 100K much faster, two things need to happen. Remember, I did request you to do automation, okay? So that you'll be pushing a fixed amount each and every month to your saving account. And beyond that, in case you're tapping on salary, your salary is fixed. So think about how do you increase your income. That is why in case you have other skills, right? Like for example, you could be there maybe working as an accountant, maybe in a given company. And beyond that, you have skills like maybe, for example, you can do graphics designing. Why not do even freelancing at your spare time for you to be able to tap into extra income? And any extra income you tap into, you can aim to push a good chunk of it into your saving. That way, you'll be able to fast track you saving your first 100,000. It goes beyond your salary. Yes, utilize your salary as the main source of you saving, but beyond that, also look for additional income and purpose to push a good chunk of it to your saving account. And then the seventh tip, which is also very important. Now, assuming you've reached your target of saving 100K, what are you supposed to do? Don't stop there. Once you reach a target of saving 100K, most likely you are saving maybe in a current account, which is not having very high perks. That's why you need to aim. Once you hit that particular threshold, invest that money. Also, investing can be used as a form of saving because depending on type of investment you are doing, you could be able to tap into that money when you need it still, but you'll have your money grow at a much faster rate. Think about, for example, investing in the stock market. Think about, for example, investing in fixed income, kind of like asset classes. All these are possibilities for you to to start seeing your money increase exponentially. And beyond that, develop a new target. Just because, for example, this year you're supposed to save 100K, in case you hit your 100K the first 5 months of the year, don't say, I've achieved my year's target. No, that's a wrong way of looking at it. Increase your threshold. Maybe go to 50K. Maybe say, given I've hit my target in 5 months, can I save $500,000 by the end of the year? That way, you keep yourself on a particular momentum of saving while you also investing whichever amount you save as you hit the threshold. That way, you'll be able to work very well towards you achieving financial freedom as opposed to not developing the habit of saving. Guys, what do you think about this video? Do you think the action points I've shared are things you can implement? Comment down below, and also share in case you have any challenges you are experiencing when it comes to you saving. In case you also had challenges before and you're able to surmount them, what did you do? Comment down below. Let's continue discussing. Cheers, guys, and you all stay safe.